Welcome to the Turn One Studio podcast. I'm Eliud Custodio with Turn One Studio, and here we meet with local business professionals. Today's guest is Todd Ringler from Calm Waters and the Alternative Board, or TAB. Todd, welcome.
It's great to be here, Eliud.
It's great to have you, man.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? Calm Waters, TAB? Because I'm curious what each are.
How about an umbrella of services?
Go for it.
I'm a valuator, an educator, and a navigator.
Okay.
I can help you understand what the value of your business and your machinery and equipment is.
Okay.
I can also help you improve the value of your business based on a lot of different things. But ultimately, I'm a certified public accountant, certified valuation analyst, lots of letters after my name. Value businesses. Educator, former college professor.
Okay.
I teach business owners and leadership teams how to improve. Accountability, things like that. And ultimately, I'm a navigator.
Okay.
Strategy, vision, planning. If you're starting with the end in mind, how are you doing it? Business owners have the same problems. Doesn't matter what business they're in, right? Whether it's service, manufacturing, it's time, it's people, it's money. Mm-hmm. And then it's literally vision, strategy, and how are we going to get out of this thing?
So the problems are fairly industry agnostic.
Well, I would agree. Well, I would believe so. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to the type of businesses you work with, are there certain industries,
I've been working with businesses from the valuation side in 170 different industries. I've been doing that for like 28 years now, so over 1,000 valuations, seen lots of ways people make money.
Okay.
As a certified public accountant, I had a variety of Long Island clients, Long Island based. So some service companies, some manufacturers, some distributors, some solopreneurs, and some rather large companies with employees, some construction. So I'm diverse in that. As far as the alternative board and the roundtable board.
So that was all Calm Waters.
That's
Okay.
Calm Waters. But it's everything, actually.
Okay.
If we're talking valuator, educator, navigator, right? Educate business owners on those things. Navigation is TAB. It's the Business Builder Blueprint platform to run and operate a business on. Mm-hmm. It is goal setting. It is accountability. It is having that vision and understanding where you want to be this year, 3 years, 5 years, both personally and professionally, because the two have to be balanced.
Okay. So is Calm Waters more the one-to-one, and the TAB is more many-to-one? Is it literally a board, as in plural individuals?
There are TAB boards. So TAB's an international franchise.
Okay.
26 countries now, thousands of TAB members.
Okay.
I actually was a TAB member when I owned my accounting firm. Sold my accounting firm, kept the business valuation piece, started working for TAB as a contract facilitator. And 7 years ago, partnered up, was offered half of the Long Island business. And this past January, December, the partnership went separate ways. And I'm now basically able to work all over the country and help TAB or business owners become members. And it is that round table. Mm-hmm. And then it's one-on-one coaching. And it is utilizing the platform to actually create the vision you vision. Business owners start with a vision in mind, and it often doesn't end up where they thought it was going to be.
How often do they not have a vision?
Sometimes they get lost, and sometimes the tyranny of the urgent diverts them from their business and their vision. So, they get too into it as opposed to being able to step back and work on the business as opposed to in the business.
So what is the importance, if there's importance, maybe I'm leading the witness with this question, with balancing the personal vision, your life vision, with that of your business? Can you compartmentalize the two, or is it all in one?
You have to be able to have a life, and your life can't be only the business, right? And there are certain business owners that feel that the business can't survive without them, and or they need to be involved in every decision. And those are the businesses that ultimately are worth less money because the business owner is involved too much. The objective, my tax clients that I still keep and some of the other clients that I have, the objective is to pay $1 million a year in tax because you're making a lot of money.
Right.
But in order to do that, you have to let go of the control. And then that's hard for some people. So,
Right.
if that's not part of your vision, maybe it becomes that once we start to talk and work together, or you sit amongst other business owners and see them doing that.
I see. I think a common pitfall with entrepreneurs is they think they're building a business, but they really just build a job for themselves.
Absolutely.
Right? That's kind of sounding like what you're describing.
That's exactly what it is. You're correct. Yeah.
How difficult is it to get people over that hurdle? You explain it. It sounds obvious to me, but obviously it's not that easy because everyone be doing it.
How many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? One.
Okay.
But the light bulb has to want to change.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Right? So awareness is curative. If you realize that this isn't working the way it's working, what do you do? If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. It's interesting because I believe everyone should have a coach. I have a business coach. I have a surfing coach. When I golfed, I had a golf coach. You drive. I'm presuming you have a driving coach at one time or another.
In order to shortcut the process, let's get where we need to be faster.
Well, first figure out where it is you want to be.
Okay.
And then how to get there.
So it's both guiding the vision and helping you execute.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. It's part of the journey. And, it's also some personal accountability. Some of my clients have been around for quite some time, and I've seen men in their 40s become men in their 50s. And there's other things that are there that, you need to make people aware of.
So generally speaking, when you're trying to transition that business owner to a better delegator, should they, and I'm saying generally because this may be business specific or person specific, but should they first look to find someone to offload the things that they're doing or find someone to do the things that they can't do well?
That's a great question. I think it would be, are they doing the right things is the first question, right? And it depends for each individual. So I think it's a personal thing. And
everyone starts off usually with employee number one, which is themselves.
Right, exactly.
So that first real hire, which direction should they go for that first real hire?
They should be taking things off their plate that are not either revenue generating or client facing.
Excellent. So when it comes to being a member of TAB, is there a certain business size criteria, minimum size? Or?
I help solopreneurs in what I call accelerator boards. So they're smaller groups, it's virtual, but we're using the same platform and the same methodology. Okay. When we get to actually the boards that I'm facilitating now, there was a solopreneur, but he had, 20 1099s. Okay. So he's operating a business with people and things that are going on. So probably the smallest one on one of my boards is probably 5 people. Okay. And
so a certain amount of operational maturity.
Yeah. Yes. Some growth has been there. They've learned. Right. They've made some mistakes, and they realize also that there's no one to talk to. And when you sit in this room and you talk with other business owners, they get it. You can't talk to your wife, your friends that work on a W-2 and make a lot of money. They don't understand what you're going through. Yeah. You understand it because you've opened businesses. Right. So it's a different animal, and that camaraderie that comes out of the board, the concern for others, but it's not judgmental. It's I've been there. I've done this. This is what happened.
Right. It's empathetic. Right?
Yeah, one of the things that we do is usually an hour of business education and 3 hours of bring an issue, problem, threat, opportunity to the table.
Okay. That's what a meeting is like?
That's what a meeting is like. Okay. And get honest, unfettered feedback. Some questions on, the who, what, where, why, when, and how of the specific issue. And then, digging into it deeper, peeling back the onion, and then recommendations, suggestions, things like that. So
that's cool.
Everybody walks away with some takeaways. There's always value to those meetings.
But you had said there's also accountability, which I think is a huge value with having a coach. So if I'm in a May meeting, by the time the June meeting comes, are you guys checking to see if I did the things we talked about?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And some of my members, want me to be really hard on them, and others are like, you don't have to beat me up so much. But the thing is when you're setting goals, if you're setting goals and you're not moving towards them, then what exactly are you doing?
Is that the trigger by which an entrepreneur knows I should reach out to Todd or not, or is there something else?
There could be.
I guess it varies.
There's a multitude of things. Things aren't working. The numbers aren't right. I mean, as a certified public accountant, I understand the numbers.
Right.
So we can peel back numbers. But is it just that gut feeling that I'm not getting to where I want to be, or, I'm not at the point I was hoping to be?
Right.
So, and that's often the case. I mean, everyone has high expectations. And then reality sets in and the tyranny of the urgent takes over. And you get to work in instead of on until you learn to delegate and take that step back. And it's not abdicate, but it's delegate to allow people to learn and to take over responsibility.
I have a potentially impossible question.
All right.
As a business owner, how do you know when enough is enough? In other words, you start off, you're always driving, right? You're trying to get more revenue, more people, more clients, more projects, whatever it is for your business. Is there ever a point where it's like, all right, this is enough? If I want to go to that next level, it's such a massive jump that I'm better off staying here.
Oh, that's again. That becomes what do I want to create? What are my goals? What are my goals? First off, it's goals, and after that, the goal or the objective is how do we measure movement towards that goal? And ultimately, what's that goal worth to us in terms of its cost? And it could be time, it could be money, it could be all of those things. So
I ask because you mentioned at the beginning having that vision, right? So if the plan is to do these things to fulfill that vision.
Right.
As entrepreneurs, we always know that while the goalpost is here, as we get close to it, we have a tendency to push it farther. And
as opposed to accepting where you are or enjoying where you are.
Well, and therefore it doesn't feel like you ever get to the end. I got really close to the end and decided to add more goals to it because this is fun.
Well, then that's okay because now you're changing your vision.
Right.
All right, so you change your vision, you change your goals. If you're happy with, this is the pile that I got and I want,
right,
and I'm very happy here, then things change, right?
Yeah.
It's personal for everyone. I can go back to owning my CPA firm, and it was probably 4 years in or 5 years in, and I was like, April 15th, I am done at 5 o'clock. I do not care what's on my desk.
To the beach.
I was married and it was a little bit of a different life then, but there was things that I hadn't taken care of at home. There was a lot of life because I was working all the time.
Right.
16 hours a day, 17 hours a day in a CPA firm practice, and that was just too much. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And what I realized is other people did what I was doing because I pushed it back on them. It was like, this is not, I don't need to be doing this. I can delegate these things. I can hire somebody in the middle, which is what I ultimately did. Let go of those, let go of the traction. Gino Wickman calls it traction. The book, he says, let go of the vine, right? Just let it go. And there's some joke that goes along with that, but it doesn't get to me right now. But
is letting go in the spirit of forcing you to delegate when it feels uncomfortable?
Letting go of the things that are not serving you.
Okay.
And are taking you away from what's really important.
Okay. I would imagine life as a CPA is tough, especially with March 15th, April 15th. Yeah.
September 15th, October 15th. Yeah. It's and if you do payroll, it's an incessant rolling deadline life. And at some point at 2009, I said I don't want to do this anymore. Okay. Sold my firm to the people that I had merged with the year before, and that was that. Kept the business valuation business and started working as a facilitator for TAB. So
why did you keep that part? It's just something you really enjoy.
My background is master's degree in taxation. Worked for Deloitte & Touche, Ernst & Young. I was at Ernst & Young a national instructor for corporate consolidated tax returns. That is code Internal Revenue Code section 1502, which is like this big, but the regs are this big. Like I was the guy that like knew it. I had 7 clients, was responsible for 700 companies. That there were some very big companies that were my clients at the time. And what do those big companies do? They buy and sell companies. Started working with valuation people and said, this is way more interesting. I get to talk to people differently. I don't have to live in this tax world. And I just found it enlightening. So on my dime and my time, got the designation, certified valuation analyst, and the rest is kind of history.
Okay. So you went to school for accounting. Why?
I was a chef and a restaurateur before that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a culinary school dropout. I never finished New York Tech's program when it was in Comac at an elementary school that no longer exists. But I had worked in the restaurant business, dropped out of college in the 80s, and started working in restaurants and just loved it. Loved the energy, loved the vibe. Back of the house, went through culinary school, sous chef, chef, owner, partner. I tended bar in the Hamptons for years as well, and it was just it got to be too much. I was married, 2 little kids, so death or taxes. I chose taxes. Literally, that was what it was. I can go to school for something that's toilet paper.
Yeah.
Death or taxes. I actually went to school for computers, but it was either building them or coding, and I had 10 thumbs and couldn't type a line of code.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's
an interesting path.
Yeah.
Computers, culinary, taxes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, it's actually culinary computers taxes, but it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I went to culinary school, but I was working in restaurants for quite some time, and then went to college. Originally went to college to try and do computing, and it was just not going to happen. So I switched to accounting, and then it was because it was like computers were up and coming. It was 83, 84.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned Lotus 123 version 1.
Okay.
I worked at Entenmann's. They had a computer that we wheeled around, and I was the guy that built spreadsheets. It was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. Taught college, quantitative methods and business analysis. So I like the numbers I like, but it's the people stuff that's I think more important.
Well, I find that fascinating. You were doing the culinary route. I could see how being a restaurateur takes a lot of time, and it's not great time. It's probably mostly late evenings, right?
You'd start in the afternoon. Well, actually, when you own the place, you start in the morning. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. It was a 6-7 day a week job.
Right. You're probably coming home late.
Yeah.
As in early a.m.
At times, yeah.
Okay, so that's difficult when you're starting a family.
Right.
And then you were doing the tax thing, doing 16 hours a day for a long time, and that wasn't giving you much time for free time. So what I'm getting from you is that balancing work and life is important to you.
Yes. Very important.
What do you like to do for fun? And clearly, you're making time for that.
I am making time for that. Outdoor activities, except when it's 20 degrees or lower. It's been cold.
Yeah, it's been a little chilly.
Although I was in Texas last week, so it was nice there.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't too bad. There was actually one day it was 80. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the evenings were cold. It's desert. But I like to surf. Mm-hmm. That's kind of my passion these days. Try to surf.
Good fitness.
What's that? Fitness, yeah, health.
No, I'm saying surfing is good fitness.
Surfing is good fitness. Just health in general. Hot yoga, I enjoy. I'm a cancer survivor, and the cancer journey really took away all my muscle tone. So slowly but surely getting back to a good weight and strength, just being strong. So, that's kind of it. I like to row. I'm a sculler, so I have this long, thin rowing shell as well.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, U.S. Masters Nationals, 2009, 2010.
Is there a certification you don't have?
Yeah, well, I probably would have to do tandem. I did jump out of perfectly good airplanes.
Did you really? Okay.
In the 70s, when it was like, it was a full-day course at Albany Airport. I was going to school in Oneonta. And, it was $75. And then you got a 2,000-foot static line jump at the end of the day.
You're leading a full life. I like hearing that.
I'm living my life. I was at a conference recently. Valerie Collins, who was the last person off 1549 in the Hudson River, besides Sully when he went up and down. Right. And by the way, the movie's not quite accurate. She spoke at this conference. Very powerful, but you have to find time to live your life every day.
Right.
Because if you don't live your life every day, what are you doing?
let's go back to Calm Waters and Tab. When you're dealing with these business professionals, are they exercising that?
They get to it at some point.
Okay.
I'm working with someone 3.5, 4 years now, and they're finally getting it. The goal was to take off Fridays and go jet skiing with the friends, and it worked out about half the time last summer. So the goals are there. It's changing the way we do things. And a lot of people are very structured and have a difficult time changing. I mean, change is the hardest thing for everyone at some point, but the only thing that's constant is change. So is it good change or bad change?
Are you seeing generational differences? And I'm phrasing this kind of funny. People of different generations having a different point of view on that, because stereotypically younger generations seem to embrace that balance more than the older generations. Is that accurate in the people you're interacting with?
And yes, it is.
Okay.
Whether it's larger law firms and the up and coming staff not understanding the games, if
right,
you will,
the 80-hour weeks and stuff.
But I also know a partner at BDO here on Long Island who the staff it's different. Where years ago the partner would kind of be able to get back to not doing the work. The partners are involved in the work as well because there's comp time, free time, whatever the arrangements they have with these people, but they're not working the hours that I worked in that in that field or that other people worked in that field to get ahead. So,
do you think that's sustainable?
The accounting profession's got some problems in this country. Is it sustainable as far as what, though? Each industry is going to be different.
Right. Well, if the younger, and it's not really about age per se, but if the newer people, if the newer hires, let's put it that way, aren't working the same hours that the people with more longevity have. I guess maybe I'm being too PC in how I'm trying to phrase this, but you build a business with the understanding that you're going to have X amount of staff, they're going to cost X amount, and you're going to get X amount of productivity out of them.
Correct.
It sounds like they're going to, with the same amount of people and likely the same amount of salary, be getting less productivity out of them because of different values that their staff has. Is it sustainable for the business to have to deal with that?
No, it's not.
It's not.
So there's
something has to give.
Something's going to give at some point, some way, shape, or form. But again, there's big business, and then there's small and medium business, and depending upon who you're talking to, small and medium business could be a $100 million business.
Right.
But for the people that you and I deal with and work with, and the level of businesses, which maybe 20, 30, $40 million at the most, but most of them are in the $5 to $10 million range. That's not sustainable. But are the goals and objectives in line with the way the staffing is set and the way people have the right accountabilities, if you will? Do people have accountabilities? And are they being measured through, their processes? I mean, key performance indicators, and that is super important to say, these are the objectives, here's the strategy, here's the action items and the tactics. You're responsible for these tactics.
Yeah.
And we, if you're having a problem with this, then, you got to communicate it. But if not, we'll meet next week and we'll see where we are to get towards this objective.
Right. But hasn't that always been in place, regardless of the number of hours?
It has, but some people also are better employees. There's always the person that you would say, I would love to have this person as an employee because they're committed, they care, they put in the little bit extra without even being asked. And then there's the people where, at 4:45, it's time to start to get ready to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my clients once said, I can't figure out if some people on my staff are working for me or working for themselves.
Okay.
So that's kind of the thing. If they're working for themselves, well, then you need to find someone to replace them.
Right.
And you've got to build that team, and that's part of culture. That's part of how you communicate with your people. It's a lot of those things. So.
Interesting. Yeah. We could take a deeper dive on that, but
yeah, more than happy to peel that one back the next time.
Yeah, we'll save that for the next episode.
That sounds great.
Before we wrap up, how can people get a hold of you if they want to work with you?
So easiest way is Todd, double D, at Todd Ringler, RINGLER.com. My cell phone, 516-317-2856. And I am the only Todd B. Ringler on LinkedIn.
Well, there you go. Nice and easy.
Easy.
Todd, this is awesome.
It was
Thank
great,
you, man.
Eliud. It's a pleasure. My absolute pleasure to sit here and talk with you.
Thank you.